This video will give you an introduction to Windows 10 and will highlight the most commonly used features that you as a UAN client will use on a regular basis. Okay, so let's get into Windows 10. Much like Windows 7, Windows XP, Windows 95, there is a start button. And it works just like it has previously, just looks a little bit different. It's down on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. When you click on it, it will display the start menu. So this is what the start menu will look like on your UAN computer. As you may know, if you've used a Windows 10 computer and other faucets, that the start menu can look very different depending on how you tailor it for your use. Here at UAN, we have tried to make your lives as simple as possible, so we have removed some of the features that we don't deem necessary to get your work done. We'll start out by going through the All Programs area. If you notice that every program installed on your computer will be listed in alphabetical order right off the start menu. This isn't always the easiest way to find something. You can see there is actually a small amount of programs installed on here. By the end of your 3 years, I'm sure you'll have 5 times this. So what you can do is you can tailor this start menu for the programs that you use most frequently. For example, all we have as defaults are the snipping tool, calculator, and control panel. I will now show you how to add programs to the start menu so that you can access them every time you click the start button more quickly than you would trying to find it listed on the All Programs area or on your desktop. So to do this, we just simply go out and find our program we want to add. So we will find UAN because we use it a lot. We move the mouse over the icon, right click on it, and then choose the option to pin to start. We will also add the UAN tools as well. So we right click on it and pin to start. So when we go back to the start menu, they will both appear and they will stay there until you remove them. Windows 10 will also identify the programs that you use the most and will automatically place them in the most used area up the top. So as you can see through my use of this computer, it identified that I use File Explorer, Maps, Microsoft Edge, Paint, Google Chrome, and Notepad the most. Alright, so now I will go into the settings area. So there are a number of areas in the Windows settings screen that you will use at least once. We will go ahead and start with the system area. The system area is where you will change your display settings, resolution with advanced display, your power and sleep, mostly for the laptop users, and you will also detail your default apps for certain file types. So the first part of the display area is the changing of size of text, apps, and other items. By default, we're at 100%. So if you don't like how it is, if everything's too small, we can increase the size. As you can see, when I do that, everything becomes a little bit larger. If we don't like it, we can just take it back to 100%. Depending on the resolution you have, you may be able to take it up to a higher percentage than just 125%. The advanced display setting, which is located further down, is where you define your resolution. By default, this laptop that I'm using is 1366 by 768. If we wanted to change it, we can use any of these other options. It is okay to change the resolution. However, we don't recommend that you change the DPI. If you change the DPI, it will cause problems with the UAN software. So again, resolution changes are okay, DPI changes are not. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the main display settings area and show you how to add a second monitor. So what you do is you have your monitor powered on. You then would plug it into an extra port on your laptop or your desktop, and there are a couple different ones you can use. We have that highlighted in our manual. So I'll go ahead and plug in a second monitor. As you can see, the number changed from 1 to 1/2, which means that we now have 2 available display settings. So we scroll down to the multiple displays tab and change it from duplicate these displays, which if you plug in a second monitor, you will see that it has the exact same picture on both. That doesn't serve much purpose, so we will change it to extend these displays, which will put the main display on the laptop currently that I'm using with all the icons, and there will be a extension on the monitor that I've plugged in that will allow me to drag a program and to have multiple things running at the same time that you can see. What most people do is they use the new monitor because it's generally bigger than the laptop screen and as the main display, and then your laptop will be the extension. So to do that, we will extend this display. I will scroll up and select option number 2, which is my monitor. Scroll back down and check make this as my main display. Click apply, and then the icons in the start menu will shift to the monitor, and then my laptop is now the extension. If you have any more questions on this, if you have more than one extra monitor or have questions about the connections, please give us a call. The tech support line at 1-800-833-8261. Okay, so an important area for the laptop users is the power and sleep section. So within this section, you can define when your laptop will go to sleep or when it will power down. For example, some people prefer that their laptop, when it's plugged in, will never turn off or go to sleep. So what you would do would be to change both these to never. And you will notice that the changes go live. There is no submit or OK button. Everything, as soon as you click on it, it will apply to your computer. The default apps area is very useful because it allows you to define which program opens when you double click on a certain file type. For example, if you want the Microsoft Paint to load every time you double click on a file that is a picture, you can define it here and it will now load in Paint. Also, another default that many like to change are the default web browser. In this example, you can change it to Chrome, so every time you click on a web link in an email, it will load up into Chrome. The choose default apps by file type area does just that. It allows you to define what exact program will open up by file type, and this is especially important for PDFs. So if we go in this area, you can see that the file type name will be arranged alphabetically on the left. So what we're going to do is scroll down to PDF, and as you can see, the default for PDF is Microsoft Edge. Well, since we have Adobe Acrobat Reader installed on this image, we are going to go ahead and change it to that. So now on every time you double click on a PDF file, it will open up an Adobe Acrobat Reader. And like in the previous example, there is no save button. Okay, so next I'm going to take you to the devices area. So we will go back and to the settings main screen and click on devices. And as you can see here, this is where your printers and scanners will be installed. You will see that your Dell printer that you had previously will already be installed when you turn your new computer on for the first time. It will activate when you plug the printer in and power it on. Windows 10 will automatically know that it is your default printer. If you can see when you scroll down, that is on. Alright, so if you want to manually control your printers, say you have more than one, what you do is you go ahead and click on the printer. You click on Open Queue. it brings up a new printer window. You select the printer tab, and then you go down to set as default printer. It'll double check and make sure you want to turn Windows managing off. You do. So you click OK, and then as you see, your printer is now the default. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next topic, which is Bluetooth. So it is in the same area. You click on the Bluetooth tab, and the default will be Bluetooth searches on. So when you go to this area, you will see all available Bluetooth items that you can pair to. This is the speaker that we want to pair to. So we click on it, then click on the pair button. And it will take a couple minutes. It will ask for a passcode. You should see this passcode on your other Bluetooth device. So we say this is good. We click yes, and it will pair. So from now on, we will hear audio from the Bluetooth paired speaker. The File Explorer area is located to the right of the search bar on the Windows Start menu. To access it, you click on the icon, and then it will display the contents of your file system. To access the UAN files folder, click on This PC, Main C drive, then the UAN files folder. If you have a flash drive, external hard drive, or a DVD drive plugged in, the contents will be displayed underneath the This PC option. For example, I have a external drive plugged in, the Toshiba, so I will click on it here, and the contents will be displayed to the right. The search feature is not new to Windows 10, but is definitely more useful than it has been in previous versions like Windows 7 or Windows XP. You will find that the search may be easier than actually going through and clicking on what program you're looking to load. For example, instead of searching for Excel, going through and finding it on most used or my start menu, I could just simply go to the search area and type it in. Excel, go right up, it'll find it, and I can click on it. Another example, so I want to get to my devices and printers. Go to search, type device, and it will complete every device option on the computer. And so devices and printers are here, and I can click on it. So a lot quicker than going through and finding it, even if you know where it is. Another thing you can do, aside from searching for apps, is that you can choose the web feature, and you can just run a search for whatever you're looking for. So you want to see the latest cat picture. You type in cats in the search, and it'll instantly run up a search for cats. So it's something you may consider using. You may get in the habit of using that instead of clicking around on the desktop. Okay, so now we're going to go to the Windows Update area. To locate Windows updates, you click on the Start button, click on the Settings button, then scroll down to Update and Security. Once you are there, you will notice you have different options for Windows updates. Windows updates will periodically pull down when you are connected to the internet. To manually check for updates, you click on this Check for Updates button, and if you're connected, it will do a scan and see if you are on the most recent update. So in this case, I have a Defender update, and Windows will automatically download and install it now. So we have seen in the past where a Windows update restart will affect your work. For example, if you're working on UAN or a Word document, the restart just happens right in the middle and you lose your work. So what you do is you click on the change active hours, and the default is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., which means that Windows will never restart during this time. Now you can only do a 12-hour span, so we can set this to 8 p.m. As you can see, the start time is now 8 a.m., end time is 8 p.m., so Windows will never restart in these hours. Once we like our selection, we click Save, and that is done. Okay, so we have shown you a lot of the new features in Windows 10 and what they currently look like. One nice thing is that we still have the old control panel. So what we have done is, let me minimize this, we have pinned the new control panel to your start menu. It is right here in the top right. So if we click on it, you'll notice that it looks like a lot like what you saw in Windows 7. For example, your old printers and devices area is right here. We click on this, and it does take a little bit longer to load, probably about a minute or two. I'm not going to stay on here for the purpose of this video, but it will bring up all your old printer icons the way you saw it in Windows 7. Let me go back. Another area that you probably are familiar with from Windows 7 is the Programs area. So we click on that and Programs and Features, and it will list all your programs like you saw in Windows 7. And that concludes the Windows 10 introduction for UAN clients.